Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at XRP. What is going to happen to XRP today, tomorrow, next week, this year? Let's have a quick peep, shall we? So, if you want to join my Telegram, there's a link in the description below. If you want to join the live streams, Wednesdays and Saturdays, there's a Patreon link in the description below. Otherwise, just subscribe to the channel and enjoy the videos. Right, so Bitcoin obviously doing its move, having a nice time, probably pulling back, I would expect, to at least the mid 53,000, so about another $1,000 from now. It could come down lower, but well, that's not really what we're here to look and discuss. So we're going to have a look at XRP. XRP on the 4-hourly, forming a golden cross at the moment, and if we look at just for an example, XLM, which they often sort of, I suppose, trend together, having a decent reaction to the incoming golden cross. This probably will lift it, march it towards the 40-cent zone, right? So normally it's XRP that moves first, which is usually the case, right? But this is a good setup on a 4-hourly chart, so it is a good setup. We could pull back, no problem, to 200 exponential on this 4-hourly and still be perfectly fine to continue and then go on to make new highs on this particular rally. This is a nice setup, there's nothing wrong with it at all. A little bit of bearish divergence on the 4-hourly, but if we move over to the daily, we see a different ball game altogether. Now, maybe a few weeks ago when we were talking about the next time we revisit the 200 exponential, it's the opportunity to buy or long. That still seems to be the case, an appropriate position to have taken, and very standard XRP behavior. So, do we revisit this again down at 88 or thereabouts, about 90 at the moment, isn't it? I don't think we will, to be honest. I really don't think we will. I think the pullback for XRP has been taken, and now what we're looking at is essentially a breakout. It doesn't feel like a breakout at the moment, but it is. RSI has broken out. We're still bouncing nicely on the money flow index, as we expected to see, going back all this time, all this information going back way back. We can see it a bit more clearly, I suppose, if you look at the weekly. We have a very nice bounce up, down, up, bounce up, down, up, bounce, and then now it looks like we're continuing with this pattern. So in theory, what this would suggest is that we will go on to make a new local high on this chart, right? It's not a new all-time high, but that's also definitely possible. There's no reason why it couldn't do that sort of thing. It could, but at the moment we're kind of just trying to remain above the cloud. What we need to do is get above this cloud, above all the major moving averages on the weekly, and that would at least give us the opportunity to push up to the $1.36 zone, which is the Bollinger Band top there, and maybe even break above this major area of resistance. So I'm quite bullish on XRP in the long term. And one of the major reasons I talk about XRP being so bullish is that it's one of the oldest altcoins out there. It's got a very long chart history. If we go back in time, this is the previous market cycle, 2013 into 14, parabolic high. This doesn't look much, we're on a log scale here, but honestly that is quite a lot. That's a 2,100% move, and then we consolidated for a very long period of time, all the way down to these lows, 94%, basically over a period of basically 3 years. Very much like what's been going on recently. Then we had a nice big pump as the market cycle was beginning to take on its bullish formation. Again, things were different back here. This was a low cap coin back in these days. I mean, it was one of the only altcoins around. It was also a quite low cap, so you're going to see much bigger moves on the chart. Obviously, we all know that. The smaller the market cap, the more money that goes in, the bigger the move. And so we had this giant big move, and then this doesn't look like much, but this is actually a 70% breakdown or consolidation, whatever you want to call it, and then the parabolic top of 2017 into 18 that we all know about. So we just turn this off the log scale, and now what we're looking at is something very similar. So a nice big move up, consolidation over a period of 3 years, accumulation, and then a slow and steady but decent attempt to recover, because this is the year of the XRP bull market, right? So to try and fit things into slots, as in like, this did this in May, this did this in December. It's not really the best way to look at it, but what we can say, what we definitely can say, is that it's in its bullish phase right now, and given what we've already seen during this bullish phase, and we'll go back to the Binance chart here, we can see that each time it makes a big stab, and again these look deceiving, but let's not fool ourselves. So from this breakout here, that was a 60% move. No big deal. That was okay. People thought it was dead. Clearly wasn't dead. We'll measure it from the reclaiming of the 50 exponential. This one was a 215% move. Okay, fair enough. Okay, people thought it was dead. It's not dead. and then we'll measure it from this breakout here, and that was a 263% move. Okay, people thought it was dead. It's not dead. So what do you think people are saying about XRP now? Do you think they think it's dead? I think they probably are still. They failed to recognise that the market cycle behaves in a very specific way, which is why it underperforms 3 years. People fail to recognise that it likes to do massive big pumps and then dumps, pumps and then dumps, pumps and then dumps. And how does it do it? Where does it respond? Most of the time, it responds very well to the 200 exponential. So we go back here on the daily. So first pump, big pump, 200 exponential. Big pump, 200 exponential. Big pump, 200 exponential. Bit of a problem here, but as soon as we reclaimed it, big pump, 200 exponential. It's a very common procedure for XRP. So, like I say, for an educated guess, for a risk to reward basis catching of a knife, the 200 exponential is usually a good place to try it, and it could almost always, not almost always, but very often yield decent returns and potentially the low. So the low could easily be in for XRP, and we could be brewing a move similar to what is going on now with XLM, because the charts do more or less look the same, right? We just revisit this golden cross again. You know, this isn't too far from where we are right now. We could easily come down to retest it. 200 exponential, very important, even on a 4-hourly. So what I'm saying is that I think this is brewing a move. We've got a breakout of RSI on daily and on the weekly. The weekly's showing the same old pattern of the money flow index going down to its low and then pumping from its support. We're creeping up nicely on the daily here with the MACD. Everything about this looks like it wants to. It's brewing a move. Doesn't mean it's going to happen today, but it could happen at any point. This is what I'm trying to put across. And again, yeah, I'm not suggesting you buy XRP. It's up to you to buy it. I take it if you're watching this, you're probably already in it. And I would expect that the market cycle will complete just as it did before, with a large move, towards the end of this year, maybe even one before that, and then a pullback, and then another final one towards the end of this year, and then see where it goes from there. Again, the lengthening cycles could easily apply to XRP. There's no coincidence that XRP's market cycle ends when the market pops due to Bitcoin, right? If that doesn't happen, if Bitcoin does have a lengthening cycle, I would expect XRP to also have a lengthening cycle. So the important thing to take home is that there is a pattern form here, and the pattern is a bullish pattern. It's getting bigger each time, 60%, 200 and something percent, 260%. It would be reasonable to assume that with this kind of behaviour, that the next big push up will be larger than the last one. It wouldn't be unreasonable to expect that, based upon our current behaviour, also based upon the previous market cycle from 2013 to 2017. So yeah, I'm very positive about the way that this looks long term. It's up to you if you want to buy it or futures trade it. I'm not a financial advisor; it's completely up to you. But overall, this trade, like I say, was based around that previous market cycle for finishing and a new one beginning, and I expect that this will work out just fine for those who are in XRP. Have a brief look at XRP to BTC. So everything getting beaten up yesterday, we kind of expected that with the Bitcoin dominance being pumping. But as we were talking about on the live stream last night, we see that it's retracing. And again, like I said last night on the live stream, if you put a gun to my head, I would expect a rejection around here. We're kind of getting it. I don't know how long it will go on for. Alts can often surprise me with their power. Anytime that we're below this 20 weekly, does offer a full retrace back down to the lows and maybe beyond. But with Bitcoin looking so strong, and dominance chart kind of is curling up here on the daily, I think this bounce that we're seeing right now, or this pullback from the Bitcoin dominance chart, will be short-lived, and I think it will move on to at least a little bit higher. The upper 40s. Maximum amount would be this upper trend line here, which is 52.5% dominance maximum. So alts will feel the pain versus Satoshis, definitely. Some Satoshis will be taken away from them, at least in the short term, and then when the major rejection takes place on the Bitcoin dominance chart, then everything will outperform Bitcoin once again. If we look at the chart versus BTC, it looks pretty bearish. We're below the 200 exponential, actually. It's pretty nasty. But Bollinger Band strategy, like we were saying on the live stream last night, it's a simple Bollinger Band strategy. Every time you're out of it, you normally get sucked back in. Every time you're out of it to the bottom, you normally get sucked back in. So back down to wherever the next resistance would be, or support in this case, and in this case wherever the next resistance might be. So we could be talking 10 exponential or 200 exponential. So we're talking just between 2,000 to 2,100 sats before the next rejection on the Bitcoin pairing. So kind of bearish in the short term on the Bitcoin pair, but very bullish long term on XRP versus its Tether or dollar pairing. And I would expect a new all-time high to kick in probably this year, if not the beginning of next, completing or mimicking, should I say, the prior market cycle. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.